Today's been ridiculous. Ridiculous. I was in Fisher's today. Oh, I don't have the exact time. I'd have to look it up. It was around 3 o'clock. I'm back by the um, desserts, and some girls come up and were laughing. Turney found out that she didn't hurt anyone, and it's funny. Right? I have my client with me, so I ignore him. I go up front and some idiot insults me. We see that weirdo out. We're not supposed to say anything. I'm not a weirdo. It's not your fault when. And that was Fisher's on Cleveland Avenue in Canton, right off 62. It's not your fault when people drug you and tell you to say something stupid. And you didn't know because you woke up with black and blue marks. And you never talked to them. Okay? I went to deliver food to another house manager for another client. Okay? I'm in the McDonald's at 1407 North Main, 3:54 p.m. going through the drive-thru. Somebody else yells in the drive-thru about the Colonel. Yeah. Okay. Tired of of these people. They're ridiculous. Some guy to that lady that had testified in August, where kids first made fun of me. Okay. That I finally figured out it was Dave that drugged me first and told me to say it. Okay. My car's bugged, and there's one Stark County sheriff would take turns either watching or listening every day for the state case. I was at the family church. One Stark County sheriff said to the other one, "Are you interested in working Karen around the house?" He said, "What's that? One of us have to listen or watch her every day." So they already heard him. And a guy with a badge showed up a few days later. Now, they made fun of me on August 9th, so it's a few days later. They took a guy with a badge around the corner and said, yes, they did drug her before. I told you about 1295 Fairlawn Middle Apartment screamed at him, and she's talked to several people. And Wendy's May 25th in town making fun of me. The church people breaking in before drugging me, told me to say weirdo stuff. And they said I'm in front of my old client Jeff, which told Jim and Brian, and that it was too dark for him, and a bunch of people in town were calling them bastards. Well, they sold a login to this case. Okay. Even the nurses at Mercy Medical last month, when I took my new client there, the nurses were in the back. Boy, we know they drugged her and told her to say it. Okay. Yeah. I was just outside, and some guy came up to that lady and said, Karen's will don't want you to say anything to her, say anything about what's going on here. And she said, well, I've already talked to someone. Well, it takes great integrity when everybody's doing wrong to do what's right. They may have made fun of me at first, but when it came down to the point, she told the truth, and so did the other lady. Everything's bugged, and there's real state and federal cases. The Massillon police watch it from Massillon, and because they keep an eye on my daughter-in-law Dixie. All right. So they know. And they were, last month when I took my client to stat care, they were laughing after everything they did to her. It's finally got funny. None of this is admissible. And then we're in here to keep an eye on her because there's a Steve and Eric stalking her. Okay? Somebody keeps claiming Karen's Will. Will's retired, I found out. Yeah, and the will they're talking about is the group of men doing as many crimes as they can to see if someone will actually stop them, like they told Ed, the maintenance man, when he had made fun of me about the tape before and all this other stuff and talking dirty around me, but then being nice to my face. Well, someone called him on December 9th about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. He had his head away from me. The tapes before were them. Wow. What's going on? It's a group of men doing as many crimes as they can to find out if someone will actually stop them. There was an older African American man that either helps work with him on that building or lives in that apartment. They were driving around harassing me, and I was shaking in my car when I seen him. He came up right outside my vehicle. She's scared to death of him. I found out what's going on. It's not funny. He said, I know. I already told him. Someone called me and told me that the tapes before were them, not her. Okay. And that, it's a group of men doing as many crimes as they can to see if someone will actually stop them. Well, he said it's a group of men doing a bunch of crimes to him. But that's what the other person. And I had been at December 9th in the Hunger Task Force. There was a white bald man that used to watch me the first the case. He came out, now they have tape and audio through there. Came out and looked at me and walked right back in the room. There's tape and audio. It makes my stomach turn to see her in a place like this. Okay. We always knew those tapes before were them, not her, so we never said anything to her. Made my voice shaking my head. Okay? I thought I've lived through hell. And you can't do this to someone in prison. They think it's Nazi Germany down here. And they can do anything they want. Nobody will stop them. Hear them scream outside? It's day and night. Day and night. All night long they follow me screaming. My new client said, Karen, I'm tired of these people driving around screaming stuff at us. Well, I was in Dollar General off of Whipple in Myers Lake yesterday. This one blonde lady's been around me on and off for years. I don't know her. And she's in there and a dark-haired man with glasses. And then there's some other men staring at me, okay? We're right by the register. There's tape and audio. I'm getting ready to take care of this today. I don't care what people say. Or what they say about her. And I'm going to take care of it. You said you taped her before? Yeah, I taped her, but I never met him. Okay? Think of that one. I've never talked to him. How would he tape me? So I went out and made a notation, sent it into the FBI and the Starr County Sheriff's and some other police departments. Because if that's that Steve or Eric that's stalking me, they got him. I was going through pictures where I sat on July 1st, 2018 on my back steps, and I took pictures of my beautiful woods, and there was a deer off in the side, okay? Well, I thought, well, I'm going to scan through it because make sure that they didn't have like cameras or something set up in there before, out in the woods. Because one time before I called the FBI, I was laying in bed and I would listen to this one bird sing every morning. It was beautiful, peaceful, and this bird just singing. And I'd lay in bed and listen to it. And one time I looked up and I'd seen a rope being thrown over a tree. And I thought, what's that? And then all of a sudden a scope being pulled towards right where I'm laying. I got up and closed the curtains and laid back down on the other side of the bed. My heart's racing. I lay there for about a half hour, too afraid to move. Okay. I got up, I moved the curtains, laid back down on that side of the bed, and it was gone. While I was scanning to see if they had any of those things in the trees, there was a man with glasses. You can see him. Not 200 foot from me. Hid behind the trees. They're that thick during the day. Okay. So I sent that to the local officer and the Stark County Sheriff's and where to find that in the Maslin place. Okay. None of this is funny. I went on Portage where they keep running around. Oh, we had a quarter to tape you, and you can't get a quarter to tape someone in their home. It has to be police and higher, significant investigation like drugs, murder, espionage, something so bad you have to invade someone's privacy. You can't do bathroom, bedrooms, no nudes, and you can't share, and you can't have a conflict of interest. It's totally illegal. And with Dave dating Judge Pete's daughter, Michelle, and her mother bragging Memorial Day weekend that they did all this for her daughter, that he met Ravenna at a store, all white lady, African American man, okay? And screaming it out. They said down at Varna Arts and Lasers last month when I had an appointment that they found the tape of that idiot woman, Reagan. They did all this for her daughter. He was also dating a Lauren, a blonde with a big chest, and a pretty dark hair girl, all connected to that courthouse. Like the local officer said, they could never say anything to your whole life. It's a conflict of interest. They would have had to went to the FBI. You just can't go to a different courthouse. And the way real investigations work, somebody accuses you of something, they have to come talk to you. So just to see if there's a probable cause. Okay. And then if there is, they talk to their witnesses and then they send it to the prosecutor. The prosecutor takes it to trial. All this craziness does not happen. It's them. The only time that you can set up tiny cameras and watch them is in a murder investigation, drugs, espionage, something so bad. And they don't share. And they sold the login. They were breaking it in Walmart around Christmas of 18. The 1st of January, they're breaking it. The login's going for $25 a pop. Okay? And you could even go to Faith Family Church. The ushers have it. Youngstown's gas station well knows that chip needs to come out. Now, neural chips are very real. They use them in Cleveland Clinic for paralyzed patients for the medical field. They can run computers, play video games, and then even the cell phone, their answer, if they could answer somebody like yes and stuff like that. They're very real. It's illegal to do a surgery on somebody without their permission. And if it is a legal strategy for the truth, and our government recognizes that. The case started, I was trying to figure out exactly what day I talked to Will. And it should have been September 27th, 18, because then the men showed up on the 28th, and they didn't show up till then. And we got our wood burner on the 1st of October. I have the receipt for it, and they were already there. So, and they just got there. And they showed up in stores. So, they weren't there till then. Until Will activated it from the local Canton FBI. He's retired now. So the people where they run around saying Karen's, well, it's them. It's the bad people from Ravenna. The men doing as many crimes as they can to see if someone will actually stop them. Real law enforcement does not act this way. There is a set of rules of how it's to be proceed. And once it's broke, they cannot, it's thrown out. One of the local officers said a government official was worried about me, sent him over to talk to me. I said, don't be mean to me. He said, ma'am, there's never no reason to be mean to you. So I told him about the tiny cameras, and they're supposed to have been watching me in Ravenna before I called the FBI. And it being Judge Pete's daughter they did it for, and the other girls. He crossed his arms. He's like, don't you worry about it. He said, nothing before the FBI. They had no right in your home. I said, well, they said they put 2 clips together and made a porn. I don't care. I said, they said that they drugged me, blah, blah. He's like, I don't care. He said, you know what? They had no right in your home, and nothing's admissible before the FBI. Not one thing. We can't look. We can't da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Well, he stopped. He said, and so don't worry about it. Well, he stopped back over with a lady, and I was telling her about some more things. I said, you know, I have never even talked to no officer, no agent, nobody, no man, no lady about anything dirty. His eyes got great big. I said, I only told Will I was scared. His secretary, I seen the guy, and Dave had a list. That's it. I erased Will out of my phone number because Dave was going through my phone, and I was afraid to get Will. And with him trying to kill me, Dixie, and the baby, if he could get a hold of Will, I protected him. It's that sick. If you hear them screaming outside, they do this. They drive by. They scream stuff. They go in stores. They laugh at me. They think it's funny. None of this is funny. It's a hate crime. And then, you know what's just rich? They act like they're going to get me in trouble. That's where it's ridiculous. They act like they're going to get me in trouble for their crimes. Oh, March 2nd to the 3rd, we're going to put 2 clips together and put her in a pour. Made my stomach bleed. So simple, wiping off water with clothes on. Didn't expose yourself. You're good. Told the nurse at Mercy Medical they only had on you adjusting yourself. And the guy's like, that's sick. She said, no, it's funny. Right in town, April 1st to May 10th. I get COVID virus shots. And this lady walks up with the phone, said, you didn't expose yourself. You're good. Okay. And then all of a sudden you're supposed to be weird with yourself, expose yourself. No, I didn't. And then I'm thinking, did they put somebody else's body on? And I'm thinking, when do you touch yourself? Shower. I went outside, people were laughing at me. Men were out there laughing. She figured out what they did. They put a shower scene in another room. I went on Portage County Courthouse records. There's no records. They can't enter it. They would go to jail. And they can't go to another courthouse. And they can't take their illegal tapes and show them to people. Seriously, right between the eyes. I was going to say something yesterday. I was pissed to somebody who's part of this. And I was going to tell them how much I'm not a Christian they are. I figure you're going to die. You might as well give somebody a piece of your mind. I mean, seriously. Kept looking around because it's very dangerous for me to be there. Some little kid had to log into the neurochip and looked at her phone and said, oh my goodness, she's going to say something to the lady. She said, I know, nobody thinks it's funny. I was. She wasn't home. I was going to give her a piece of my mind. Like I said, the neurochips are made for paralyzed patients so they can communicate. They can look right at the cell phone and see what they're thinking. They're made for the medical field. It's an illegal strategy, U.S. Supreme Court 18-10134, 2005 11th Circuit, that our government recognizes as an illegal strategy for the truth. And it comes with like a 20-year sentence, RICO charges. You can't stab somebody in the neck, abduct them, and I have a dent that big in the back of my head, and it's caved in that far. And that's how not funny this is. How would you like to wake up with your hair missing? hair straight up, and you got a dent in your head. You don't know what happened. Your last thing you remember was at the refrigerator and somebody stabbed you. And your ex is accusing you of having an affair. You had no idea. You got marks on you. And you're dizzy and you can't even think because somebody just played with your fucking brain. And then you want to go to Walmart 62. Within 2 weeks, there'll be a group of men with the cell phones by the TVs. We implanted a neural chip. We all can read your thoughts. I thought, you're lying. That's crazy crap. They're very real. Like I said, Cleveland Clinic uses it for paralyzed patient medical field. They can play computers with their eyes, type with their eyes. They also can video games with their eyes. And then they even have the ones where they can answer yes, no, or they can just see what, it's how they communicate. It's used for the medical field. It's been used for years. But you can abduct somebody and do it. Now you can see the cut, the wires, and the crack. Now, the case started September. Well, I talked to him 27th. The guys showed up on 28th. Nothing before. Not a damn thing. And then there's been witnesses. Dave drugged me. I'm glad that lady told that guy, I already talked to somebody. Karen's Will is retired. That's the group of men doing as many crimes. You know how you stop mob lords, druggers, rapists, framers? You tell on them. You tell as many people as you can and tell law enforcement. So, like that guy showing up over there, you tell on him. You tell on him. If you got his plate number, tell on him. Because they're part of it. Do you want them to drug you? Do you want them to chip you? Do you want them to rape you and your children? Do you want them to kill you? My son and my granddaughter's 3. And the Massillon police watch them because they take off their lug nuts. They slash tires. Their tires have come off when they're driving. They reloosen them again, played with their brake system. So when he pulled forward, his tires explode. Way up on the highway, his whole car blew up. And like the officer said, that's no backfire. So the Massillon police watch them. They watch this whole case. My car is bugged. There's no reason to ever lie because then it'd be perjury because they've already heard you. And one officer listens every day. Poor thing has to listen to me bitch. Seriously, has to listen to me bitch. And March 2nd to the 3rd, they heard that you're going to put 2 clips together and make a porn. And that's how sick all these people are. They're demonic. And they're demonic helping them out. Some guy said, anybody stupid enough to participate in this? It's life in prison. And if those people really did die on the gunshot night, on a real police investigation, and Dave's voice was caught on tape with the shooters, that they went to the wrong house and they killed people, they covered it up. There was a thing on Portage, in Ravenna, their police, some kid's murderer got away. Time the FBI got up there to reinvestigate, everything was gone and the guy got away. They let some kid's murderer get away up there. 5 judges, I looked up conflict of interest, had 41 people raped and destroyed, tried to destroy him. They got 6 to 20 years. 139 judges refused to excuse themselves for conflict of interest. That's a 10-year sentence or $1 million fine. Now, my friend is a local prosecutor. He talked to an agent, and he said that they scanned all my information and sent it back. They know what's going on here. And if the police don't fix it, it's a police matter. The police needs to fix this. It's their job. He's going to talk about one officer just to call him and just let him come down and take care of all this. Melissa's kids were caught by real police in Hire on Thanksgiving of 18 that they were lying. Oh, I was in Cracker Barrel today. They were following me around because I had went in to Bob Evans and they think it's funny harassing their victim. Um, I was talking, they keep saying this really dirty statement, and I didn't know what it meant. And it's not that I'm stupid, but I didn't know what it meant. I had to Google it. It's a me game of pretend. Of course, it never happened. Of course, it wasn't true. We made it up. It was a game of pretend. Flora ratting him out. But the police already caught him ratting him out. Thanksgiving, or them staying until Flora. On Thanksgiving 18, they made the whole thing up. They already caught him, and Flora ratted him out October 23rd, 2019. And then those kids witnessed, they told them they were lying. Some guy was following me around with a group of people, said, if they're going to tell everybody they're lying, I'm not helping. I thought, shame on you, you shouldn't have helped in the first place. You don't participate in hate crimes, murder, extortion, racketeering, drugs, framing, illegal chipping, and murder and attempted murder. Tonight I went in the laundromat about 5, 6 o'clock at night in Louisville. Some girl was walking in with this lady. We know they just tried to scare her to death. Do you know that's attempted murder charges, right? I spend a lot of time on Google. It is. There's a lot of charges and a lot of people involved. There was a black-haired man with white, 50-ish, dark eyes, baseball hat, sat down in the optical center. Now, this is before April of 19. I woke up with bruises around my legs, okay? And I go into Walmart, and they were drugging me. Well, this guy sits down next to me in the optical center and said, "It's me and my man question you and I. That's why you got bruises." I'm like, who the hell are you? Okay? And I walk off. So he shows up in Louisville at McDonald's and act like he raped me. He better not have. You can't break in somebody's house and stab them with a needle and tell them to say something stupid and rape them. That's crazy crap. The law states no coerced confession is admissible. And then they lie to people. They have sodium pentothal reports. They don't use it as spy flick movie stuff. If you Google false confession, sodium pentothal, questioner gets what it wants, right or wrong. You say yes to everything and lie down the board. Illegal sodium pentothal, FDA prohibits any use in humans and not to be brought in the United States. Lethal sodium pentothal, they use it for lethal injections and anthrax. They don't use a lethal injection. It's spy flick movie stuff to make you say yes. No coerced confession is admissible. And they don't drug and frame people. Oh my God. Hear them? It's terrible. Day and night. Following me. Screaming stuff. And they think they're funny hurting their victim. It's not funny. And then you go over there and tell Karen's will doesn't want you to say anything. Will's retired. It's the group of men doing as many crimes as they can to see if someone will actually stop them. There is no will. That's what they were calling the guys with the earbuds. We're calling the agency thing. And it's not. It's not the agency. It's them. There was a heavy-set white man in shorts and a shirt came in, or a long-sleeve shirt, and said, I told Dave. I asked him if he knew. Did he have shorts on or did he have pants on? I forgot. He's a heavy-set white man, and he's real heavy, and he was older. He's like, I asked Dave if he knew about these people threatening her. He better keep his hands off of her till I find out what's going on. And he's right by the entrance of Walmart. They had to ask him. And You know, it just, even if it was an officer, they had to. But the ass that went to Paymer the night before I called Womack, they said he's behind a lot of this. My God, I had enough. I forgot to tell him. He's talking, I'm crying, and I'm trying to get everything out, and I'm forgetting all kinds. It's the overwhelm thing. I learned that in divorce care. When you get overwhelmed, you get this blankness. And it's too much for your mind to comprehend everything, or not comprehend, but to process it out, because it's too much. And with those people threatening me, and realize all the attempts on my life was Dave, and where I loved him with all my heart, it just, the knowing it was him, you know, well, maybe a promise. Nothing legally stated dated against you again. Only for you and only for you while we do this for. We'll always pull it back to the traffic ticket. You can be accused of no wrongdoing, a life of peace as an informant. No man will ever touch you. Okay? And when this is over, we'll put it back as only for you, as if it never happened. And only for you what we do is for you can't be legally charged for anything again. The diplomatic immunity thing for being an informant. Do you know I was supposed to get paid for it? Didn't get that either. My God, I gave him crop charges, druggers, rapist, a crooked judge, crooked officers. Then that one guy on the internet, I don't know if it's the truth, he was dealing with that one really bad person. But he sent evidence, so I give it to them too. Yeah. I mean, do you want a big case? I mean, it's huge. It's huge. And they sold the login. That's how stupid they are. They sold it for $25 a pop. They're talking about in Walmart. Then everywhere I go, hey, Karen this, hey, Karen that, hey, Karen this, hey, Karen that. I'm like, dear God. It's horrifying. And they think it's funny. And you know what it did? It created a whole bunch of witnesses. Now, last night I went into Sheetz on West Tusk across from Walgreens. Some lady said we already knew what they did. And other people said that attorney said we're not supposed to say anything, or are not supposed to follow around them. Shouldn't be following. Attorney can't hire you to follow me around. That's stalking. They already know those kids lie. Everybody knows they lie in the United States because they sold the login. You go to Belden Village. March of 19, there will be groups of people there for me, including the lady that went to Rupika's office and yelled at those officers or agents about things I said in my home. And you could hear her all the way out into the waiting room. She showed up there with a brown hair, bearded man. And he's like, she's amazing. And they're walking, and she's like, I know. And he said, I could write a bestseller. What happened? I call it Karen's Prayers, Paid Off Dirty Agents, a man trying to kill his wife and men being shot at running. She's like, I know she's amazing, and I'd like her to speak when this is over. She watched me for a while. So you could actually see them. We're coming back from where Dick's is, and there's the store where Katie works, the jewelry store, and then there's kiosks and clothing area, and we're right there. They tape an audio in there. You know, I was talking to my one neighbor that got roofied in a bar, and he doesn't remember how he got home. He said he was telling everybody it was an astronaut. They had him on tape and audio doing it. Told you, all these stores have tape and audio. He was telling everybody he was an astronaut and all kinds of crazy stuff, and he doesn't remember. Yeah, it's that bad. I mean, he drove himself home, took himself to the bank. He went out to eat, came home, changed his shoes, and sat down in his vehicle and couldn't figure out how he got out of the bar. He said, though, he said he thinks he remembers leaving, but he's not for sure. He has nothing else till he got home. And he drove all those places. Drove all those places. Yeah. They roofied him. And yeah. Roofies aren't funny. And if you go June 23rd, Walmart, back by the paint, I buy paint then and right before and after. There's a group of women. Oh my goodness, the boys had a drugger to make her say that. Don't anybody mention those tapes. There'll be 2 young investigators right before I get there. Follow me. What are these people talking about? We interviewed her whole family a long time ago. She never hurt anyone. I was in Walgreens in Maslin and get my client a shot. And 2 women, older women that had watched me, came in, sat down, and started laughing. Her family really did speak highly of her. They had told me in 19 they talked to him and they spoke very highly of me. And they already told me that they caught Melissa's kids lying in 19. So, yeah. And I got upset. I thought, I'm not dealing with you. My client has to get a shot. And I walk down where the candy aisle is. And before I walk off, there's some guys walking by. We wanted her to wait till after Christmas to help her. I thought, not dealing with you. Not dealing with you. I go over to buy the candy, and there's a girl and a guy at the end of the aisle, and then they walk off, but you can still hear them talk. I seen her the other day. I told you what they're doing to her. Well, I thought they were done with her. He said, boy, I knew they made everything up. He said, blah, blah, and he's going on and on and on and on. And I'm just getting angrier, and I can feel my voice shake. She's like, they need to go to jail for this. He's like, I know they do. I've been raped. I've been tortured. I've been drugged. I've been chipped. I've been publicly humiliated. I have almost been murdered and stalked trying to save my families and others. And so they get caught, and these idiots keep getting let go, and people will not do their jobs and press charges. Okay? I'm so upset. I go to buy my candy and some items for my client. I'm stuttering. And I looked at the lady and I said, I'm sorry. I'm stuttering. Normally I talk right, and I'm like stuttering horribly worse than what I just did now. I mean, it's to the point I can't catch my breath. I told her, I said, my ex had people break in and beat me during our divorce. And they have people show up and say stuff to me in public. And I can't handle it. And she's like, ma'am, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And I said, I am sorry for stuttering. She's like, don't worry about it. And I'm sorry that happened to you. Now, I told you that one guy claimed he was an agent. He was white, 6', 220, had dark eyes. He had his head shaved. He drove a dark gray truck. He was following me around. He followed me clear into Maslin, trying to go making fun of me. He was part of the rape and torture, and he followed me to Macy's, my church, and because they sold the login to Even Faith Family Church, and there's 3,000 of us, and a lot of them have it. 3,000. He comes in, I had to arrest that whore, and a young usher with black hair and dark eyes got in his face. What you did was consider rape. You leave her alone. And people are staring at me and him, and I sit down crying. They yell about Dave and everything else. He needs to be caught. He's a rapist and a torturer and a drugger. The stalker is between February and the 1st of April of 19. Self-pay register food counter, Walmart. He's white, black, stubbly hair, dark eyes. He wears sloppy pants, probably 30. Uh, Another man got him out of my face in the evening. Self-pay register. He's this man smothering. See, I don't do well. And I don't know who the old fat white man is. There's actual videos. There's real cases. You can get it from the Maslin police. There are good police departments. And everything from September 28th on is when the real case started. They break that they made up a case to watch me at Liberty House, Share Hills and Dales Road in June of 19 in front of the North Canton Jackson police. So they would even have that tape. And they did tell Dr. Alan Martinez March 13th of 21, 2:53 p.m. That some damn bastard neurochipped me, and he said he already knew. There is a CT of it at Mercy Medical. You can see they cut the wires a crack. It is illegal. I do need it out, and I do need help. I should not die for a judge's bloody whore in a store of Ravenna like her mama break. They did it. For her. And they said they stayed out the gunshot night for that girl, 2 African American men with dreadlocks at the self-pay register mocked me, and then a white guy with gray hair and mustache at Woodforce. They'd have all that. I mean, they did everything under tape audio inside stores. I do need somebody to help me, and I do need the chip out. They made fun of me at FedEx that it's a tracker chip. I don't have insurance. Like I said, they're real. They use them for paralyzed patients, but it's illegal to do a surgery on somebody without their permission. Like I said, my whole family was interviewed. I never heard anyone back in 18, and it's documented, and they did speak highly of me. And Melissa's kids were caught lying on Thanksgiving of 18, and then told more people they lied. And the toxic water, people can go to hell. Just wiping off water with clothes on, not exposing yourself, you're good. And then the clips together, making them porn, and then sending it to people to make fun of me. Revenge porn laws is another no-no. It is a group of men doing as many crimes as they can to see if someone will actually stop them. And they even mocked the FBI. They did it in Mentors. This last month, too many crazy people are coming at her, and it was too much for the local FBI. They're mocking them, like daring them to do anything. They already know what's going on. There's real cases, and like my brother-in-law that worked for the Pentagon under Dick Cheney, for a monitor is a monitor. The government can see you. These people are stupid, blatantly arrogant, and ridiculous. They last November to the 1st of January, they were in the local Giant Eagle. A whole group of them from Ravenna. It's funny, she doesn't know what's going on. It's so funny. Then another time, there was a man and a lady. She's actually going to tell on them. Okay? I don't blame her at this point. And I walk in the back, and there's a group of ladies from Ravenna. Well, what about Dave and the gunshot night? You know, he actually did it. Yeah, he got caught. Dave made a mistake and a big one. He got caught on the outside of a bugged house by real police, real FBI. They went to the wrong house. And the unique statement of seeing me through a monitor, they had to be in one of the guys' homes. So, yeah, someone needs to pull the gunshot night apart. I did try to get that lady help in 19 that stated something happened to her husband, and I got raped and tortured. I deserve to know what happened on that gunshot night. it cost me a night of being raped and tortured and wanted to stay quiet. None of this is funny. And they were breaking in blatantly in the first month and stabbing me with needles. And apparently where I thought I had bruises from moving wood, it wasn't from moving wood. It was from them drugging me before, including my ex-husband. And you know how you stop people from doing crimes? You tell on them. And you tell. And you tell. So that it stops this mob behavior. And it protects somebody from being the next victim. Because they don't care if they kill children or babies. Because my granddaughter's 3. And there's been random attempts on her life, my daughter-in-law, and my other sons. This occult is so extreme. It's not funny. And then including a dirty judge, his dirty undercover officers, and this wicked mama's attorney friend. It was all their idea how to do it. They were bragging. They think they can be mob lords. Yeah, you go to jail for that. I grew up right outside Buffalo. Real mob lords. We go over to Buffalo from Grand Island. There'd be the guys in the 70s, big cigars. There was guys in trench coats and hats watching the big guys in the cigars, and then the really strict police. Okay? I remember being, about 5, 6 years old. Little bag of change, ran over. My dad had a factory there to go to a candy store. The guy in the trench coat bent down and said, "Sweetie, you don't buy candy from that man." I'm standing there with my little bag of change. And he's like, "I mean it. You don't come on this side of the street. You go back to your mom's vehicle or you go back to your dad's factory. I mean it." I took my little bag of change and ran as fast as I could. He scared me to death. But yeah, you don't buy candy from the guys with the big cigars. Those are, one of those guys had came up to my dad. They were burning businesses up there, grocery stores. They burned down my ice cream stand. They finally rebuilt it. But yeah, they were burning businesses like crazy. One of them came up and said, "I want you to give my son a job." He's like, "Fine." He come home laughing. He said, "That kid stands in the corner with a broom in his hand. He can stand there. I'll pay him to stand there as long as they don't burn my business down." It just, yeah, you didn't mess with those people. He said, I'll pay him to stand there with a broom in his hand. He said, "I don't care. They're not burning my business down." And, real mob lords, they'd have you hurt and then look at you and say, "My God, that's terrible that happened to that person. I have no idea what you're talking about." They don't take credit for it because they're not stupid. And they definitely don't take videos of it and put it on the internet and sell it and be stupid. And they don't drug somebody and tell them to say something stupid and use it against them. They may break your arm or your hand or beat the shit out of you or throw you in the river. And that happened a lot back then too. You never made them up. See, I grew up out of Buffalo. I had that. I had the border, I had Canada, I had museums, I had art galleries, I had classical theaters that I'd get dressed up and go to as a child. Then we get on buses and go to Maple Farms. We go across the border all the time into Canada and then have their culture. And it was like a melting pot of people. It just, you're a good person, you stay to yourself. Everybody left you alone. You know what I mean? You just didn't do anything wrong. You're fine. It just, yeah, they're not stupid to say, "Here, we did this crime. We got the evidence of it." These people are. Like they said, they almost got away with it till they started bragging. They don't care who they brag to. They don't care. They put it on the internet. A real state and federal investigation starting in September 27th, I talked to Will. He must have activated by the 28th because that's when the men showed up of 18. And nothing before. They had no right in my home. Like the local officer said, It's not admissible. Don't even worry about one thing before. And I said, but they said they did this. I don't care. They said that they drugged me down. I don't care. He said nothing before the FBI. And I'll tell you what, the FBI can pull the snake case too, get it from the Massillon police, and within the first month, the men will be breaking and stabbing me with needles. I'll be asleep. I'll have my bedroom door locked. And all of a sudden, I thought I heard something. And then I, just roll over back to sleep. I wake up with a big black and blue mark. People showing up in stores saying they're drugging me. And I'm like, that's crazy, and walk off. And what are you doing? And what were you doing in my room? You can't break in somebody's house and stab them and tell them to say something stupid. And here they were doing it before, including the ass. Things I die at his choosing. And these people participating in this are insane. Why would you want to be a part of a group of kidnappers, druggers, illegal surgeries, public humiliation, rape, torture, extortion, racketeering, attempted murder, and possibly murder? It's like every crime, like they said, it's a group of men doing as many crimes as they can to see if somebody will actually stop. And that's what they told Ed. And I guess that ball guy at the Hunger Task Force that watched me in the first case told him the same thing. He was telling that African American man. Because he's like, I found out what's going on and none of this is funny. She's scared to death of him. And then he's telling them that the tapes before were them, and it's a bunch of men doing a bunch of crimes. See if someone will actually stop them. You know how you stop them? You tell, and you tell, and you tell. But you know what? Regardless, there's a real case. Yeah, that started September 28th of 18, where the men showed up. And there's real state and federal tapes. And the Massillon police will give it to you. Go Kay Moser and the Massillon police. They protect my daughter-in-law and my son. They said it's finally getting better. I keep them up to date, because if they play with dicks like this, you'll crash. Some idiot up in Ravenna, for every idle word you say, I will turn it on you. Okay? Silencing a witness or an informant is illegal. Let's see. And another ass came up to me. Are you ready to kill yourself? I can make you kill yourself. You ready to commit suicide? I walked off. I thought, you bastard. I have tried to stay alive through this whole thing. I have had people almost shoot me in the head driving. I've had a gunshot night not to hide. Hide not to get killed that night. Let's see. I was beat with internal injuries from that ass. They didn't arrest him. I even reported it myself. They didn't arrest him. Emergency reports, scopes. Turn him in. They didn't arrest him for nothing. And I'm right in front of the police officer. Didn't arrest him. Sexual assault. Oh, Karen, I can't stay interested in you. Up the butt. And pulled out a blood vessel. What? And I could hardly clean. It takes surgery to fix it. I got a bump on my tushy. It's a pulled out blood vessel. It's not funny. And he got away with all that. And he beat on me more than once. I didn't answer my phone after I almost got shot driving. He chicken winged my arm, tore up the muscles. It was from my shoulder down to my neck to my shoulder, and a banana around my shirt. They called it being around my shoulder blade. It was pushed out about that far. And my muscles would lock up and tighten, and then they'd loosen up. It matters how much that muscle would give from being tight. And I was on heavy muscle relaxers on top of it, trying to get that muscle to loosen, where he twisted it backwards and down. And I hit the wood railing. He damaged the cartilage in this one rib cage, punching me with both fists in my stomach, causing permanent inflammation. I have an emergency report. And a scope of my stomach proving it. I didn't answer my phone. I didn't want to die. Yeah. And he's not in jail. They protected him. The shit he's doing, I'm squeezing my face till it's completely black. Them popping me in the ribs. Good luck finding a man that won't hit you in the rib. And I told him there's good men out there that don't hit women, and get out of my room. My ribs were literally uneven. This is not funny that a man, and I didn't retaliate. He got away with all that. I reported it. Is he in jail? No. Is there real police videos of him doing it? Yes. During a real case. Is he in jail? No. Why? Why? Because he dates Judge Pete's daughter from Ravenna Courthouse. They protect him. That Lauren and the big boob girl and all of them, they let him beat me with internal injuries, try to shoot me driving, help stab me with needles in my sleep, lie to people. They have those fake sodium pentothal reports. They used amnesia drugs on me. Yeah. And they think it's funny they can frame their victim. And they were already doing it before I called the FBI. I only called the FBI, not only was I having threats from that Katie in the mall, overhearing that one girl that the other church had took up 25,000. These people are coming at me. And then Dave held me down that I was going to die for his girlfriend. So, and I got these people showing up threatening my life. And then Dave came up to me, my girlfriend's rich and powerful, our family owns the police. You won't be able to withstand it. I told him it wasn't a communist country. Nobody owned the police. And I thought, God, he's got connection. This girl just cost me my job. I called the FBI on him. Yeah. There for a while, I thought it was an agent's daughter, and it came out it was Judge Beats from Ravenna. Then with him dating those other girls, they could never say anything to me in my life. And there's nothing filed. And the only ones that could file something against me, I lived in Portage County. It's a Portage County courthouse. Portage County courthouse can't say anything because it's a conflict of interest. They would have had to went to the FBI and see if they were interested. And trust me, they wouldn't care about fucking Judge's daughter. They do care that Judge tries to frame the wife, drugs her, photoshops her, has her neurochipped, publicly humiliates her. They do care about that, though. Because 5 judges did this to 41 lives. Raped, framed them. And they got 6 to 20 years, and 139 judges didn't excuse themselves from conflict of interest. Then the charge is 10 years in jail and $1 million fine, or both. You can't include yourself in crimes. I'm going to cut this out today. I'm tired. It's Christmas Eve. Worked all day. And I do need the chip out. This insanity needs to stop. And I'm telling the apartment building for me, second one closest to the fence, not to say anything. And she's like, I already talked to someone. Karen's will doesn't want you to say anything. Will's retired. There is no will. It's a group of men doing as many crimes as they can to see if someone will stop him. Telling the truth to many people as you can. The car's bugged anyways. The officer heard you. Plus, you already talked to someone. It'd be perjury now. And everybody with a login to the case. Heard you too. Back on August 9th, and just that guy. I just was outside with my car door open, and the chip got him. People are stupid. It's like talking to a fucking robot. Seriously. They use it in medical field. I really want this fixed. I had hair missing, and the one hairdresser at the hair salon in 62 Walmart, I was talking to her. I said, see how my hair fell back in? She's like, yeah, I see that. Yeah, it was gone. It took almost 2 years to all grow back up. You know how bad it is to go to the refrigerator and wake up with a dent in your head and get stabbed in the neck and wake up with a dent in your head and you got hair missing and you got a migraine. I watched how they do it. It's not a difficult surgery. They remove your scalp and skull, just cut it open, put the disc on it, and then retracted out and it goes straight into your brain. And then they surgically glue it back down. It's very simple surgery. But yeah, it's highly illegal to do it to someone without their permission. It even hurts to push on that dent. They did a shitty job. A shitty job. A shitty job. Um, and like I said, the dent is literally as big as an egg, and then the middle part is it's done it in almost a quarter to half inch. It's that bad what they did to my head. And like I said, they use them for paralyzed patients to communicate through cell phones. They also use it to play video games with their eyes and to type a computer. It's for the medical field. And it's illegal to do a surgery on somebody without their permission. It's like 20 years. I do need someone to help me. Everything's under tape and audio, and there's no damn excuse. And somebody said if the Inspector General ever gets a hold of this case where I've already reported it, he has to fix it. The answer will be no damn excuse. But please, I prayed for a Christmas miracle that someone would show up here to help. I guess in God's good time, someone will eventually show up. You can't let a victim be victimized over and over and over again. For when I called Will, I didn't call Will, but I went to call him, and the secretary, I left a message. They were already taping. They have a list of people they're going to do this to. And it needs to stop because it creates more victims. Hero, they're not funny. They think it's funny terrorizing their victim. It's not funny. I have no tolerance for these people.